Up you two, man. I know I'm not tripping, right? People cannot drive. Like, was I in the wrong there? Was I in the wrong? I was already pulled out and I was already in the lane, in the middle, like, lane to sit and wait to merge in, right? And by the time he was up close and started honking, I was already, like, you know, in the lane. Am I wrong? I'm not in the wrong, am I? Because, I mean, like, first, one, if you see a car that's already pulled out and you're coming up the highway, slow down. Two, you know, he could have just slightly moved over. I wasn't even in the lane, matter of fact. He could have just kept on going, which he did. He didn't slow down. He just kept going, but he just decided to honk because he's a road raging psychopath who doesn't know how to drive and doesn't know the rules. I mean, if he would have hit me, it would have been his fault because I was well pulled out already. And it's not my fault he's flying over a 60-mile-per-hour road speeding. You know what I'm saying? It's like people like that, man. No, bro just felt entitled, I guess. I don't know, but either way, we chillin', and I'm here. People cannot drive though, man. It's pretty insane. I say this like I didn't do something similar the other day, but like on a realistic level though, people really can't drive, and it's insane. Like, you really don't realize how bad people drive until you start getting active in the city. Once you hit the city, man, people don't know how to act, bro. I be seeing some cars and it's just ridiculous. But that Hellcat, that Challenger Hellcat we saw, man, that was a pretty peak car. He needs some tint on that thing and it'd be perfect. But that's a really good car though, man. I would never get one just because of stereotype. If you get what I'm putting down, but still a pretty cool car though, nonetheless. It's a shame it has that stigma towards it, and the insurance is probably pushing about $1,000 a month just because they get stolen so often, and they're such highly targeted vehicles that if you have one, you might as well just call it a wraps. If you're just, you know, say you go to the movies, right? Say you go see a movie. Say you're going to see Strangers Chapter 2. You know, movie's 2 hours long. You're minding your own business. You got a Hellcat SRT wide body. That one wasn't a wide body though. But if it was a wide, even if it's not a wide body, it's still gonna get stolen. But anyways, you know, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna take my nice whip that I worked hard for out to the movies. I'm gonna enjoy myself, have a fun drive in my car. You step outside the movies after 2 hours. The end credit scenes roll. You walk outside, drink in your hand or icy in your hand, whatever your preference is. And you know, you're walking around, you're in the parking lot, you're in the parking garage, and you realize and look around and you say, I don't see my car. And then you pull out your keys because you're like, you know what? Maybe I just parked in a bad spot. Maybe I just forgot where I parked at. You start hitting your horn, your horn and your lock button, and you don't hear a thing. And then you realize your car was stolen because it's a Hellcat SRT. And honestly, it happens to any car. Like any car that has some sort of status to it, or any car that can like bring somebody a certain status or make them look a certain status, it can get stolen. Like this car could very much be a target itself. Hence why I don't really drive it around that often. If I drive it around, I only drive it to safe areas or areas where there's a lot of cars like this. You know what I'm saying? you got to be very careful about stuff like that. Like if you ever get your dream car and it's any car that's realistically $45,000 and above, you got to be very careful about where you take it, because it puts a target on that vehicle. And it's a shame that people resort to stealing cars that people have worked hard for and they love, and it's their dream cars that they've always been wanting. Because I'm sure those same people that be stealing the cars, they're stealing their dream cars. Just imagine if they applied all that pressure that they do to stealing cars to like studying or working on like a business or something, bro. Imagine. They could get 2 of them cars, bro. It's insane to me. It's like you steal your dream car from somebody else that it's their dream car that they worked hard for. What kind of person does that make you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like at that point, it's like, at that point, it really, you got to really reevaluate yourself in your life. And, obviously you're going to get caught in 2025 stealing cars. I mean, every car nowadays has like some type of location service or tracker in it. And with the new technology nowadays, anybody can find any car. So if you're planning on stealing a car, maybe think twice. But because, you're very much going to get caught in 2025. But it's just like, it's insane to me that people go to those links though. Like, bro, if you really wanted the car that bad, just go get 2 jobs, man. 2 jobs and boom, you can get it. Save up, get it, quit the other job, and you're chilling. It might take you, it might take you 6 months. It might take you 6 months. It might take you a year to get that full income from that other job. But, oh, he got a wide body on that one. That was sick. But just, just work for it. Grind, bro. Just grind. If you got a second job and that second job gave you like $45,000 a year, or say like $30,000 a year, and you work that whole job for a whole year, that's $30K in your pocket if you don't spend all that money from the second job and anything. Just open up a different bank account and have all that money from the second job routed to that second bank account, and you don't even touch that money. Like, don't even put the app on your phone, bruh. Don't even put the app on your phone. Have all the information so you can access it, obviously, but and then eventually, when a year's time has came around, download the app, log in, and boom, you got $30,000, $40,000 something dollars sitting in your account. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're cheesing. I mean, not to mention the other money you can stack up as well from your main job. And then next thing you know, boom, you can go get your car, and you'll have a lower monthly payment that you can afford as well. There's dudes who work at Amazon driving Hellcats, wide body Scat Packs, GT350s, BMW cars, bro. And they just work the night shift at Amazon, bro, making, like $50,000, $60,000 something $1,000 a year, but they can afford it because they put in that work, man. You can put in that work. You can put in that work anywhere for real and get that pay. Get that car, man. There's a lot of people who do that work night shift at Amazon, or hell, they even work at Walmart. Man, I know some people who work at Walmart and they make 6 figures, bro. Same with Amazon. It's crazy. You'd be surprised at how much money you can make from these jobs. But obviously they got like seniority in there though. Like, they've been working there a long time. So obviously they're going to be making 6 figures, but 6 figures in Walmart. 6 figures in Amazon, yeah, you can if you're a manager. I ain't going to hold you. You can if you're a manager or a driver for sure. But, like, still there's like tons and tons of people who drive Hellcats, wide body Scat Packs, normal Scat Packs, GT350s, GT500s, Corvettes, M4s, M3s, M5s, bro, and they just work at, normal jobs that you wouldn't even expect you'd be able to afford something like that with. But it just boils down to you at the end of the day. It boils down to you and your budgeting and your work ethic, for real. Like, that's really all it is at the end of the day. Like, I could go get a Corvette right now if I wanted to, a C8. Now, I wouldn't have this BMW because that'd be stupid amount of money on insurance, but I'm not finna pay like $600-$700 on insurance a month. I mean, come on. At that point, I might as well just, that's like $700 a month I could put in investing. You know what I'm saying? Into like stocks and stuff. Like, so I would never do something like that. Unless I was just like, unless I just get up even more, start making more and more money in my income, then yeah, I wouldn't mind at all. But like, I could get a Corvette. I could trade this in for a C8 Corvette right now. But I could trade this car in for a C8 Corvette, which, is also another dream car I want. But I'm not going to do that because my goal personally is to have this M4 and have a C8 side by side. That's my goal. That GR86 is just my daily beater car until eventually I can replace it with a C8. And then I'm going to just be driving those two around. But that's me personally. But realistically, man, though, another goal is like sell this car and put all of it in stocks, dividends, and S&P 500s. That car is insane. Put it in S&P 500 and all that, just so I can have that money coming in, that cash flow, which would be great. But then, I wouldn't have my BMW anymore, man. And, I decorated my whole garage for it to be a BMW garage. Like, so that's another reason why, I am very hesitant on selling this car and all that. Because, one, it's brought so many memories, and I've built this channel. Like, this car motivated me to make this YouTube channel, and this YouTube channel is doing well, and I know it's gonna do well, and it's just, this car specifically motivated me to chase a lifelong dream, man. So it's just like, getting rid of it would be bittersweet. It really would. It would be bittersweet. But, I'm going to keep it for a long time, like I said. But, or keep it for a while, I should say. I never know, because I'm so impulsive, it makes no sense. Like, 1 minute, I could be like, oh, I'm never getting rid of this car. The next, oh, I'm getting rid of it. And trade it in for a C8. You know what I mean? So it's like, I never really know. So I'm going to just say I'll keep it for a while. And who knows, maybe I decide to just do the financially smart thing and sell it and throw it all into stocks and investments. And honestly, just build a crazy portfolio, crazier portfolio, and have some dividend income coming in monthly, and use that to pay bills, pay my car payment on the GR86, pay it off. Live a good life. Or, just keep doing what I'm doing, But if I did sell this car and did that with stocks and stuff, man, it would leave so much breathing room for me to do Like, and I could throw in so much more money on just investments alone. Maybe even possibly get another, maybe possibly get a property, a rental property, you know, who knows? I really could possibly get a rental property just to rent out to people. But having one rental property to me is like kind of taboo, because it's like, yeah, it's an extra $1,000 a month coming in your bank account, or maybe even two. Okay, realistically, a good $1,600 to $2,100 a month coming into your pocket. But with one rental property, and you know, with that mortgage not paid off on that rental property, it's just going right back into that property. You know, I'm not taking any profit unless I just up the charge and take like maybe $300 to $400 profit. You know what I'm saying? That'd be the only way. Which, I mean, $300 to $400 profit a month isn't bad. Like, that's great. Like, that off of that income alone is just great. But I mean, it really just boils down to what I can do and what I want to do. So I mean, it's a very tricky situation, because let's put this into retrospect here, right? If I use that word right, I don't know if I use the word right, but let's just say this, right? Let's say I get a rental property, right? That mortgage, realistically nowadays, depending on the home size, I'm gonna say the mortgage would be like $2,100 something, right? Let's just say that number. I would have to raise that rent to like $2,400 or maybe $2,300 if I wanted to make a $200, $300 profit off of that. And you know, that would just go towards where I live, and pay, you know, like a water bill or something, or a phone bill, you know, where I live. Like, that's how much money I'd get profit from that. It wouldn't be like a substantial amount. It wouldn't be a substantial amount to where, you know, I can pay a whole mortgage payment a month with, you know, or a whole rent payment a month with, you know what I'm saying? But if you tie in that's, you know, $300-$400 profit with dividend profit, if I were to sell this car, because, you know, half of it would go into a rental property, half of it would go into, you know, stocks, dividends. You know, realistically, with the dividends, you'd probably get about $100, $200, and then you have $300 to $400, and that could be like $500 to $600 right there. And then on top of that, you know, you have, you know, 9 to 5. By that time, I'd have YouTube payments as well, which, you know, YouTube varies in pay, but, you know, with all them multiple sources of income, and they slowly grow over time, and then, you know, I'd slowly get another property. It's, you know, it would be very doable, and it'd honestly be a very, very smart thing. The only issue is property taxes, because property taxes do go stupid. They do go stupid, you know, when the Federal Reserve wants to, you know, raise interest rates or lower them, you know, it really does affect your property tax, and property tax can get expensive, especially if you live in Florida. You get a rental property in Florida, you best believe that insurance and property tax is going to be stupid. But, you know, there's just things like that you have to take into consideration. So realistically, that profit from the rental property would probably diminish into honestly nothing. Like, it wouldn't be any profit, because it would go straight to property tax, because it wouldn't be homestead. It wouldn't be, you wouldn't file for homestead taxes there. So them taxes would just be a straight property tax for like a business corporation, or, you know, business corporation, because I do it under my LLC. So I mean, that's that. So, I mean, you have to take little bits and pieces into consideration and really rule out what can you have to really sit down and think and look and research what can I do to make the most profit passively. Now, rental properties are a great source of income, and I stand on that. Like, I'm going to get rental properties eventually. But my thing is, I don't want one rental property. If I'm going to get a rental property, I'm going to get 2 or 3. And I will do that at once. I will get 2 or 3 at once whenever I do get rental properties. There's a guy in my company that I work with that owns 30 rental properties, and he works a 9 to 5, and he owns 30 rental properties. Not an apartment complex, straight houses. He owns all of them, and he rents them out to people. That is 30 different sources of passive income in his pocket monthly. And I sit here and I think to myself, like, dang. Like, I'm trying to get like that guy. Imagine having 30 rental properties. Do you understand how much money you would get a month off of those properties alone? The guy at my company doesn't even have to work the rest of his life if he doesn't want to. Just because he has 30 rental properties. You see what I'm saying? That's why I want to do it. That's why I'm so tempted to sell this car and do it. But it's just not the... But it's, you know, it's for the car content, you know, that's what I'm doing, man. But it would be the smartest thing. I could go out there and get, you know, a rental property or maybe 2 rental properties and, you know, rent them out to people. But then you have to find, you know, clientele and tenants, whatever you want to call them, to live and stay there, sign the contracts, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, there's a lot that goes into it. But it's very doable. And I honestly advise everybody to get into real estate and start doing this stuff and get rental properties. Any property you can get a hold of, just get it before Bill Gates and BlackRock buy it all. Because they are buying up all the property like crazy, man. It's pretty insane. But I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it all under an LLC, of course, and kind of just run a corporation of like a rental property corporation, stuff like that. Maybe open up a huge fat loan and buy a property outright with the loan cash. And then just... And then, you know, instead of having a mortgage, I would just use that payment that I get from the tenants on the loan. So I would have a fixed rate at all times with a bank that would never change. Instead of it being a mortgage, you know, it'd just be a flat rate. But it's very hard to get a big chunk of cash like that from a bank, like loan-wise. You really gotta be like super established, you know, like 800 something credit, which I don't have a perfect credit, so it'd be a little tricky. But you know, that's my thinking, man. You know, that's my thought process on some of this stuff. Because like I don't want to be another guy who is just stuck working a normal job under somebody all the time, 24/7, or like having to go into an office in corporate. Like I don't want to keep doing this anymore, you know. Like working from home would be great, would be fine. I wouldn't really complain if I worked from home, because, you know, I can cook meals and work at the same time, do what I need to do. But just going in a corporate office like this every day, it's just hell in a cell. Lord forgive me. But, you know, I just want better for myself. So that's just my whole thought process on all this. And it's just me really talking could do that would be financially, smart or financially set me up for greatness in the future instead of having this car. Even though I love this car, man, it is such a great car. Like, this is the first like big boy purchase car I've ever made in my life. And I mean, man, was it worth it. It's worth every penny. But it is a depreciating asset, guys. It is. And that is the one thing that bums me out about this vehicle, is that it's a depreciating asset. That's the one thing that bums me out. But that's just how it is, man. That's just how it is. But we'll get right, man. We'll figure it out. It's either, my other businesses, just launch the new business I'm working on and start, work hard, get more income from that, or sell this car and, do the financially smart stuff and plans that I had for myself set out in the future. Just started early, which would be great. Having properties early at a young age is only setting yourself up for the better in the future. Just got to be smart with spending money. But you know how that goes, man. So, and hey, maybe business will take off and I can have the C8 in this and ain't got to worry about nothing, which would be absolutely perfect. Stingray or Z06, don't care. But anyways, go off, guys. Stay blessed. Keep God first. I'll see y'all in the next video. Leave a like, subscribe. Peace out.